Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Maybe I Do. Written and directed by Michael Jacobs here with his directorial feature-length debut, this film has a star-studded cast with people like Luke Bracey, Emma Roberts, William H. Macy, Richard Gere, Diane Keaton, Susan Sarandon, and more. So before we get too far into this, I'd like to say first of all a big thanks to you guys for clicking here on this video to hear my thoughts on this new movie. This film will be releasing on January 27th, and I got the chance to check it out a little bit early. So a big thanks to those beautiful people over at Vertical Entertainment for sending me over an early screener for this one. And this is a movie I was very interested in right out of the gate because a lot of times when I do get screeners, there may be a couple of popular actors in the movie that I'm familiar with, but it's not all the time that you have an ensemble cast with a bunch of actors that you can see in a bunch of A-list films from decades and decades. So here we are now with Maybe I Do, and I'll start this off by saying there were elements about this film I really enjoyed, and there were elements about this film that I wholeheartedly understood that other people are gonna love this. And so this is a movie that, you know, I can't sit here and say, wow, this is a absolutely incredible movie that I think everybody's gonna love. It's gonna work for so many people. It's got this, it's got that. This is a movie that I think is going to work for a specific market. My mom, for instance, is probably somebody who's going to love this film. And the reason I say that is because my mom loves things like Hallmark movies. I would say that this is maybe a step above some Hallmark movies that you can see on the Hallmark channel. But yeah, this definitely has a very similar vibe when it comes to that kind of very cheesy, over the top, kind of just like very self-aware, very love-heavy kind of movie. And so if that's what you got going on here with Maybe I Do. The movie focuses on Emma Roberts and Luke Bracey's character as they're having a bit of a struggle when it comes to whether or not they're actually going to get married and move further with their relationship. Of course, I'll stay away from spoilers, but the next thing that makes this movie pretty interesting is that we end up finding out that the parents of their individual selves, Luke Bracey and Emma Roberts, their parents know each other for a very specific reason, and their marriages are not all that great. I'll leave it pretty vague for anybody who's watching this review and doesn't want to have any spoilers going into the movie. I don't really know what the trailer shows or doesn't show. I went into this entirely blind, and yeah, what I could say overall is I found this to be a cute watch for the most part. I found this to be something that, you know, I enjoyed the overall themes of love and finding that special somebody, because that's really what this movie is all about. At its core, the real central problem that Luke Bracey's character and Emma Roberts' characters are kind of coming into conflict with is the fact that they don't fully know where they want to go with their future. Luke Bracey's character is not really sure if he wants to get married. He's happy with their relationship as it is, and Emma Roberts feels like, well, I don't want this to be it. I don't want us to stop here. I want us to be on the journey to something else. And then through their parents, they kind of see two toxic marriages that have kind of lost the lust and the love and the excitement that they once had in their relationships. And so now you have these two individuals who have two completely different perspectives on what love is, and it's kind of, you know, creating this conflict in their young relationship now, and they're looking to their parents who are in these very broken marriages to kind of find some semblance of love within it. And then that's when the story gets a little bit not messy, but it gets a little bit crazy in the story. It was where I found myself the most invested. But even with that said, this is a very simplistic story. This is a silly, cute, fun movie that's gonna work for some. It's not gonna work for everybody. I didn't love the movie. I can't even really say that I necessarily really liked it. I can't see myself revisiting it, but there were elements about this movie that I definitely honed into and enjoyed. And I think the character that made me feel the presence of love in this film the most, without a doubt, was William H. Macy. Now, with this star-studded cast, unfortunately, I don't think everybody here is giving the top-tier performance that they've given in the past. This is by no means going to be in everybody's like favorites of these actors in terms of movies. These were just okay performances for these actors. I've seen all of these actors and actresses in far, far better films, giving far, far better performances. So that's something to kind of know going into this. But William H. Macy was the one that I feel really honed into the message of love the most in this movie, and was the character I found myself the most invested in. I found his perspective on love to be the one that made me think about love in my own life and think about my own relationship and things like that. So without a doubt, I think William H. Macy is the standout. And outside of that, like I mentioned, the performances for the most part are, they're decent. They're a good time. There's nothing crazy about them. With that said, though, I did find, though, that there were a lot of performances throughout the course of the film that maybe should have had another take for a couple of line deliveries. I think the script also isn't doing the actors a lot of favors. I think some of the lines that they had to read weren't necessarily the best lines to read. Looking at the guy who directed this movie, Michael Jacobs, his filmography is mostly in the world of producing and different things like that in his filmography, a lot of TV stuff. So you can definitely see a very TV, cheesy, kind of vibe with this movie. This movie definitely feels like something that could easily be on the Hallmark Channel one day, and maybe it's going to be, who knows. But yeah, overall, I found that there were times where maybe some of the performances could have taken a different take to maybe see if they could have landed that line a little bit more. I'd say my least favorite performance in this film probably came from Luke Bracey. And he's a character I just never really knew how to connect with over the course of the film. There's times where it feels like he's really serious about his romance when it comes to Emma Roberts' characters. And then there's times where it just feels like his character is kind of just not really caring or not paying attention. And at times I felt that there was a bit of a clashing in tones in the film where it's trying to be this, serious yet kind of like sappy TV movie kind of thing about love. And I can totally buy into that. As I mentioned before, my mom loves this kind of stuff. So growing up as a kid, I watched Hallmark movies all the time. So stuff like that I can definitely buy into and just have a good time with a good sappy romance film. But there were times where the comedy in this film just kind of came in and I felt kind of undercut some of the sappy, love story stuff and took away from some of the moments in this film. And so there was a couple of moments of comedy where I just thought to myself, that just felt so random and the tone just kind of feels like it's clashing. And I found that when the movie was leaning heavier into the romantic thing, into seeing these characters in turmoil, some of the dialogue in those moments tended to be funnier, but naturally funnier than the moments that were actually trying to be comedic. At least that was my personal take on it. With all of this said, though, this is a standard film. I found it to be generic in a lot of ways, but enjoyable. I found it to be cute, but nothing crazy. I didn't love it. I didn't even really crazily like it, but I do think it's a movie that's going to work for a certain audience. I was looking at a couple of other early reviews that people said, and they specifically said in a lot of those reviews, this is a movie my mom would love. And I think that I would have to agree. I think if my mom sees this movie, she'd probably enjoy it if she watched it on TV, on Hallmark, whatever the case may be. I think a lot of people, if you're into, these just very sweet made-for-TV movies that have a very central theme of love, that aren't trying to be anything crazy or exciting, and just kind of have a very quick 1.5 hour runtime that you can kind of just breeze through and you don't really have to put too much mental thought into the movie, then I think this movie will work for you. If you're looking for something that is revolutionizing the romantic comedy genre, you're not going to find it here. I don't think this takes it to any new levels, unfortunately, but I found it to be a cute enough time. Even if it didn't fully work for me, I can 110% realize as a moviegoer and as a film fan that there's going to be an audience for this movie, even if I'm not a part of it. So a big thanks to you guys for watching. As I mentioned, this movie comes out on January 27th, and I am actually looking forward to seeing what people have to say about this. So if you're watching this video after the movie's premiered and that's what brought you to this review, first of all, thank you for clicking on my ugly face and getting this far into the video. And I'd like to definitely invite you guys to leave comments down below. Did you like this movie? Did you not like this movie? I definitely want to hear some differing opinions down below in the comments, so I'm definitely looking forward to hearing what people have to say. Hit that like button if you guys enjoyed the video, and hit that subscribe button if you guys are interested in seeing more videos, because I have a lot more early movie reviews coming in the next couple of weeks that I think you guys are definitely going to want to hear about. So a big thanks to you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.